Hi, I'm Mary Hoffman with Synergy Resources, and today we're going to talk about Synergy's BOM Xploder. We all know it's hard to catch shortages before they catch you, especially on products that have deep bills of material. In other words, that have lots of components, maybe lots of components and subassemblies, and those subassemblies have components and subassemblies, and those subassemblies may have components and subassemblies. It seems the more parts on it, the greater the chance that you're going to get caught without one of them. And we all know it only takes one shortage to ruin your on-time delivery record with an important customer. And not to mention what that does to delaying necessary cash flow for the company. Well, with Synergy's BOM Xploder, you can see the complete material availability through the entire exploded BOM. The idea behind Synergy's BOM Xploder is to answer the question, can I build it now? In other words, do I have all the component materials for the finished product through those different levels of the bill of material in stock, to be kitted, and to be released to the floor right now? And if not, allow me to drill in to the details and find out when I'll have them, or take the actions that might be needed. So let's take a look. First, let's talk about how this is typically done by visual customers. Often that's done using the material planning window. So let's just go into material planning here. So this window tells me what I need and what I have coming, what I currently have on hand for a single part. The way that it typically is utilized by planners or schedulers is that they'll use this search to say, all right, I am a planner or a buyer, and we don't want to see skips parts. Let's clear that. Let's say I'm a planner and my name is Ellie, and I have certain parts that I'm responsible for. It could be that I want to look at this by product code or something else, but let's just say it's by planner, Ellie. She only cares about fabricated parts. She's not a buyer. She happens to be a planner for production planning and scheduling. And I could add additional filters here, but we're not here to talk about the material planning window. Let's just go see what Ellie has on her plate that she needs to be looking at. Which parts? We'll do a quick search, and there's 6 or 7 of those that Ellie is responsible for. So let's drill into one of them. The idea here is, what do I need? What do I have? I don't have any. What do I have coming? Well, in this case, it's a manufactured part, fabricated over here. There are 2 work orders that are coming to satisfy this. However, they're not finished yet. Maybe they're not even started yet. What Ellie might do is now drill into each of those work orders and check their status, which might lead to checking their material availability. Let's drill into just the second one. Pretty simple bill of material and routing put together here. In this case, the materials are on yellow. So not started, nothing's been done. If Ellie wants to know, where do I stand on those materials? Can I push this to the shop floor? Then typically, using visual tools, I would go in to check availability, and then what Ellie needs to do is say, all right, what do I need? How many do I have? Okay, I'm okay on the first part. What do I need? I need 2 on the second part. I'm okay on that one. Third part, I'm okay, but not overall. There are other builds that require this particular part, that third part. The part that concerns me is the fourth one. Well, I have 1 required, none on hand. Well, with only 4 parts on the bill of material, that chore is maybe not so difficult, but let's think about what if that was a more involved bill of material. Let's go back to our material planning window for Ellie and her to-do list that's still here. And let's just look at something that might be a little deeper. We'll look at this one. Now, when I drill into one of these work orders, for this component, notice, whoa, a lot more parts, a lot more materials are required, and a subassembly is required. In this case, it's just one subassembly, and that subassembly does not have additional legs or additional subassemblies required. But let's now go look at that material availability for this, or I should say for this work order. Well, now that list is quite long as I scroll through it. And going through those one by one by one is a little more daunting than when I only had 4 items. And now imagine that was a much larger BOM, like this one, that has multiple legs. Those legs, I'll scroll over, those legs might have legs. There's a leg with legs, and they could go on and on and on. Another way to see that might be in a simple text view, to be able to see how deep that can get. And to check on all of those materials might be quite a daunting task. Well, that's exactly what BOM Xploder was designed to help with. So let's now go take a look at how that changes when you have BOM Xploder. Let's go into the BOM Xploder. Now, first, let's just talk about what we're seeing on the screen. We're seeing information. This happens to be by work order. We're looking over here by work order, but I could look at that by part. We'll stick with work order for now. But I can see what are my parts, what are those, and this is the parent item, the work order, status. We'll talk about color codes in a minute, but more and more fields. The way that this navigates is, of course, I can decide what the layout of this looks like and save layouts. So if there's fields I don't want to see, I can rearrange and change those. It also acts the way you would expect it to act with filters and with sorting by certain fields. And we'll talk about all that in a moment. Let's first start with functionality. So one of the first things that a planner will do, like Ellie, if the question is, what can I build right now? As a matter of fact, that's what that's another name that this tool, BOM Xploder, goes by. It's called Trial Kit. So, or can I build it now is another way to think about that. So if I were to test and see if I can kit it or trial kit this, do I have the materials that are required? So so one of the first sorts that someone might do is to filter and say, I really only want to look at those items that, yes, I can build right now. Now notice all of these are in black. That color coding is telling me something. Items or work orders that are showing in black are good to go. They are ready to go. So if I'm a planner, I might want to take this "Can I build it now?" report and sort it by things like the desired release date, and then go ahead and get those, get the next 2 weeks worth or the next week's worth and the next day's worth released to the floor. And from here, I can print those travelers. I can take that action right from here. I also could drill in and look at work orders or look at the material planning window for the item that this is to build. But we'll talk again a little bit more about that. So I'd call this the low-hanging fruit. This is telling me what I can build right now. So if I am if my goal is to get as many dollars coming in, so work out the doors so I can get dollars coming in, this is a list of things that I should be able to build from a material standpoint without interruption from that material standpoint. Well, now let's look at the harder, the items that might not be ready to build. So we'll take off our filter of yes and say, well, now I want to see those items that no, I can't build them yet. So now you notice that there are additional colors going on. So black was telling me that yes, these are good to go. We all know in visual that red is not good, so we'll talk about that. But there's also another color here, and there's the possibility of more. I don't see in my sample that other color right here at this top, or this top end item level. But let's just look at what those color codes mean. So to do that, I'm going to pop up a little cheat sheet here to show you, so that you have something to look at on the screen. So what they mean, black, we know what that means. Blue means that there is enough inventory if I take what I have on hand and include what I have coming. Include that supply that is on its way. So that is showing, those are the items that are showing in blue. The items, if there were any in orange, and we'll see some orange in a minute, the meaning of that is that there is enough inventory for this demand, but not all demand. I might have other work orders that are out there as well. So if you find yourself, sometimes robbing from one work order to put into another work order, that's this situation where I have materials, but not for everything that I need. And then red means I don't have enough inventory, even if I count that incoming supply. So that's how those colors work. So as a planner, what would I do? What might I do with this information? So let's look at a couple of things. From here, I can sort and filter, as I mentioned before. So I'm going to look for a particular, that item we were seeing before, and that was a part number that started with an E, and it was E. There we go. So I'm filtering. Notice this filter. That's very handy. Filtering immediately, and we'll just look at this one work order. This is the one we called up earlier. From here, I could drill right into that work order. I could drill into that work order by clicking here on the work order, which brings up that manufacturing window. I also could drill into that material planning window just by clicking on the part ID. The part ID is switched over to this part ID. So I can drill from there. And then, as we all know, take actions that I might need to right from here. I also could drill and look at that entire structure. So that's what this little first column is about. So let's drill in there. Now, here's the structure. Now, this is opened in an exploded format. So if I want to close that and, I'm seeing each of those different levels here for this particular build. And their status. Now there's one that's orange. I have the same capability here to drill into that material planning window. So if I wanted to go look at this item that is a purchased item and find out, what might be coming, when it's coming, what's going on with this part, then I drill into that material planning window. It now opens the material planning window for that part, and I can see what's happening with that particular part. Don't have enough inventory. Ooh, I even have negative inventory. So maybe now I need to say, oh, somebody needs to look into this negative inventory we probably received but did not process one of these older POs. But I can see what the point is. I can see what's going on and move into analyzing the rest of the parts. Maybe open that back up. Here's an orange one, which means that that I have enough inventory for this one, but not for everything that this requires. So, or everything that where every build where this part is required. So now I can drill into those items. Other things before we leave, and we'll wrap up here pretty quick. I just wanted to point out that this information can be taken over to Excel if I need to do that. I also can take this information over to Excel as I've made those, as I've made those filters and such. Let's look at that more detailed, or that deeper bill of material as well, which was this part. Yeah, there's one. Is this part, and we'll just drill into this right here in BOM Xploder. So now remember, this had several levels. So I'm looking not only at that parent level, which I can see easily in the background is red, it's in trouble, but as I drill into details, I can see this assembly is in trouble, but this part I have enough somewhere. These two parts are in trouble. This is one I build. Oh, the items needed for this. This one I have enough for this, but not for or I have enough between the inventory I have and the inventory that's coming. But these two, I have enough for this build, but that might be cutting somebody else short, or I might need to move inventory around to be able from one order to another. But notice this indented multi-level bill that I'm able to see. This capability is there even if I'm not linking those subassemblies. And it uses the MRP logic to make those logical linkages without the hard linking or the hard allocation that you get when you link. So that's another point of discussion if you'd like to have it. So this, in a nutshell, is the BOM Xploder.